Jay-Z, to say that he is defiantly coming against this is almost an understatement. Even allegations that he filed a lawsuit against his attorney saying, don't even try this because this is a case of fraud. Khalif, what do you make of this?
There are a lot of lawsuits. We're a litigious society. Let's start there. And so you have all these lawsuits with anonymous plaintiffs. And so the victim, the alleged victim, 13-year-old victim in the limousine taken to the party, made to sign a non-disclosure agreement, now represented by a person that says he has 120 plus lawsuits or potential victims against Diddy. But also now Jay-Z is connected to this. And so Jay-Z counters and says, I'm going to sue anonymously the attorney for blackmail. I think there are a number of issues with all of these cross claims and cross complaints on Jay-Z's side. He's challenging them. Look, if you really think something happened, why not bring a criminal complaint as opposed to a civil complaint? I think his PR team is working overdrive, but his attorneys better get ready, because if there is a civil claim out there, normally what this means is that there will prompt some investigation, some criminal investigation to start. And so I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for the troubles that are looking for Jay-Z's way.
If you associated yourself with Diddy back in the day when a lot of these alleged crimes were happening, I mean, what must you be thinking? Like, I can't obviously delete my past. I had a connection with him for a brief, whatever the time was. You got to be sweating going, I'm probably next.
Well, the good part about it, I mean, if you are a defendant during that time, you're talking about early 2000s where social media was just in its infancy. And so a lot of the stuff that was happening would have been like physical photos on phone. And so going back, if you're doing the investigation, trying to get that, you'd actually have to get your hands on the hard copy of a picture, or actually get your hand on a photo, as opposed to being able to go scrape someone's past and see what they posted, because people really weren't posting like that. That was in the infancy of social media. I mean, a lot of these folks are probably disappearing and not staying in the country, going to places where there is not an extradition agreement between the United States. You see things like Russell Simmons going to Bali and hasn't been back since. Anyone has had those associations with him in the past, they're distancing themselves. They're making sure that there is no association, specifically on the criminality side, because there's no timetable on that. If you're talking about statutory rape, there's no statute of limitations. You can bring those claims whenever you want. So those are serious allegations that have a clock that continues to run forever.
Jay-Z's attorney has asked for a speedy trial on this because obviously they want this resolved. But when you're talking about something that involves, P. Diddy, however many other people are going to be named this, is this going to be a fast process? Because I feel like this is going to be another one that's going to be very drawn out.
Well, I mean, if you're on the Diddy side, you got multiple claims. Remember, he's got the criminal stuff. He's got the federal claims. And so you want those to get resolved fast so you can either get out of prison or get some type of sentencing if you're convicted. On the civil side, yes, you want those to get resolved because you're paying legal fees while you're defending these claims. And if it's 120 plus claims, you're going to be defending these all the way across the board. I think Deshaun Watson is probably the closest one that we could think about that had this amount of folks coming at him with claims after claim after claim. In his situation, he settled a number of those to ensure that they can, move forward. If I'm advising Diddy, I'm making sure that you have the evidence that supports you in either your settling or not. Regarding the blackmail portion is what I can hit on. There's a thin line between that. In the legal profession, you send these demand letters and you're letting them know, hey, I want to sit down and talk to you about potentially taking this claim to court or finding a way we can settle and avoid going to court. And I'm assuring that's what his demand letter said. The attorney came out and said, we sent him a standard boilerplate demand letter. Jay-Z's calling it blackmail because he probably was asking for a settlement, asking for a dollar amount, stating that to avoid us going to litigation, in lieu of litigation, pay X, Y, and Z, $200,000, $1 million, whatever it is. He looked at it as a threat. He looked at it as blackmail, and that's why he sued. But that, again, is an extremely thin line. What he would say was blackmail typically would probably be a demand letter.
Jay-Z's production company has been producing the Super Bowl halftime show for a long time, so it'll be interesting to see if the NFL decides to distance
themselves
come Super Bowl next year.
100%.